let's go over our intermediate handstand drills, and these are going to be both freestanding and against the wall. These are somewhat annoying to do in a way that it's a lot of kind of going back and forth, and especially if you're trying to run a class with these drills, it can get a little bit of a kind of leapfrog situation where somebody has to go on the wall, somebody freestanding, and keep flip-flopping. But they do work really well, so let's dig in. First step we're going to do is do the frog stand, and the frog stand is we get the elbow into kind of the divot or whatever this area is called by the knee. Put your hands out, turn them out slightly just like a squat would with your feet, and then just try to balance here. What you don't want to do is when you're doing this is just to kick up, kick up, kick up. That's our first step. I want to be able to hold it for 10-15 seconds. If you're starting getting pretty good at it and it's pretty easy, then just kind of moving side to side, back and forth. Just getting used to this here is good. And this way it also develops so that our hands doesn't stay flat on the ground and all the pressure is on the whatever this area is. But also it's on the fingertips and the pressure is more middle of the hand. Same way when we stand, we don't stand with pressure on the heel. The pressure is in the middle of the foot, so we can have 80 kind of areas to go adjust backwards and forwards. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to come to the wall, we're going to do a double leg kick up. So we're going to go like this, and just kick up slightly, and then we're going to turn around, walk away a little bit, put our hands on the floor, and do the same thing here. And we're going to go back and forth. Usually I like to go 3 or 4 times, kind of just depending on how much time we have. And sometimes 2 sets of 3 is good. 1 set of 4, 1 set of 3, it's not too big of a deal. So as we progress, this will gradually become higher and higher. And the same thing freestanding, we'll just start going higher and higher. We used to just do it freestanding and then kind of come to extension here. But doing that same extension against the wall seemed to really speed the progress up. And I've seen a lot of progress being made by folks who do these drills rather than the ones we've done before. Even though they work, these just work faster. So go back and forth 3 times. One thing to watch out for with double arm kick up or the double leg kick up is it's very common to cheat a little bit and people kind of go like this. So it's a true double leg kick, and if we're finding ourselves splitting up the legs, then what you want to do is just kick up less and find the bare minimum where your legs are nice and together. Another thing to watch out for when you're doing this, just don't bend your arms, so don't start going, or especially kind of too flaws, bending the arms and headbutting the wall. We don't want to do really either. So just don't rush on these double legged ones, because they will feel weird, more than likely for a lot of folks, but it's the value of them. It's a little bit, I think of these drills a little bit like if you're trying to practice the snatch and doing high pulls or snatch balances or some other accessory exercises just to improve the main piece, because this shows you, the reason I like the double leg kick up because it's very symmetrical and it's more challenging, so it makes the regular handstand feel easier. So once we do the double leg and we go back and forth 3 or 4 times, so about 6 to 8 reps total, we're going to do the straddle, and so we're going to go wider on our feet. As far as positioning here, just whatever feels right. Kick up a little bit. And then turn around, come around. And then you're going to do the same thing here. Just go. And then same thing on the wall. If you can come up here all the way, I prefer to kind of balance here with our feet in the straddle. If they do come together, not really a big deal. I just prefer to have them apart. And then we go again here and we just kick up. And the same thing. 3 or 4 times back and forth. This one usually, like the first one usually, the guys do better on, the double leg, because they tend to be a little stronger. And then the girls kind of get a little bit discouraged doing the double leg kick up, but then tables kind of turn because dudes are usually, as flexible as a 2x4. And so the girls with the straddles do a little bit better. and then the guys struggle a fair bit, so at least it's a kind of a fair combination of drills. Once we do our 1 or 2 sets of 3 or 4 reps, so 6 to 8 reps each, we're going to go ahead and do our single leg kick up. So here, set up, and then kick up. Try to get your full extension here. Your feet are not almost together. Your feet come completely together. Come off, back here, and then you go. And just go back and forth 3 or 4 times as well. One thing I like to do here is, if you're on the wall, just make sure your feet are together, because if we're trying to hold freestanding and we're in that soft kind of position with our feet slightly apart, it's going to be really hard to progress. I'll get to that in a second. And it's just not real tight. It's like we're practicing the snatch and just keep ignoring the hook grip because, you know, it hurts or something like that. One thing I like to do once you start getting better too is, if I normally put my hands here to practice, start sliding them further away. So each rep, like, go a little bit further. This way, when you kick up, you're trying to get your feet together before you come on the wall. So we don't want to go, once we're here, and then this foot already hit the wall and this one came to it. We want to try to get the feet together before we finish on the wall, because that'll be more similar to that of our handstand freestanding. So then once you do one here, again we go. I like to do the hands on the floor for this. I don't like doing this from the lunge, because generally it builds more momentum and it's a little bit harder to control for like normal folks. And since we're not talking about like pure gymnastics coach, these are handstand drills for CrossFit and so forth, or at least that's how I prefer it. And so little by little, we can go and be pretty stupid with this and go pretty far, but don't get sketched out and don't push it and then end up collapsing or something like that. So it can be pretty far away. One thing I don't like to do is when people kick up and try to lean away. So we go here and then we're gonna try to slowly like push away and hold, and then here push. That's fine. I just personally don't like it because it doesn't really train as well for the floor, just because you're not gonna kick up on the floor, have somebody hold you, spot you, and then as you lean away, you hold it and they walk away and then you snap your vacation picture. It's just not kind of a real world situation. Not that a handstand is that real world of a situation to begin with, but that's just how I think. So that's kind of the basic gist of the drills here. One thing I do want to also show is once we start getting close, so you here, once we start getting pretty close to an actual handstand, like, learn how to take that step before you go all the way up if it sketches you out. And even if it doesn't, still take that step. So this way, once you're here, take a step. This way, when we go a little too far, we can bail safely without having to do a full back bridge out of it or just flop on our back, because it's not like water and it's going to be pretty uncomfortable to fall on our back straight up. So that's like the regular drills we do here. Once you're doing your final drills of the single leg kick up, you can do an extra set, possibly of not even a wall, just the regular single leg kick up. If you want to lunge into it, that's fine too. Not really a big deal. I like to do it, again, hands on the floor. Some of it too, because if you're doing it ever only outside, then on concrete, or especially on any other kind of surface, usually there'll be little stones, pebbles, things like that. So what realistically happens is you're going to like clean up this floor, try it out, and then only go ahead and kick up into that handstand. So, and the other thing too is just be able to do it from any angle, any position, anything like that. Do it from a lunge, do it from no step, get into it from a straddle. It's just a variety of exercises, kind of like we do hang snatch, squat snatch, power snatch, hang power snatch. Same thing with a handstand. It's more than just one thing we can do with it. And then that's that. So one really crucial thing is when we're working towards a handstand, we're working towards a handstand hold. Don't work towards the handstand walk. Handstand walk is a byproduct of it. It's really, really easy to do once you can handstand hold. And if we focus on just handstand walking, we'll waste a lot of time and opportunity to learn a handstand properly and solidify it. It'd be like if we only work on keeping pull-ups only and no strict. It's just not an efficient use of time, and also just not a very smart way to progress. So one thing I want to caution against that is really kind of hard to get rid of is when we kick up, don't do that. So as soon as you kick up, if one hand moves, just bail. So we kick up, one hand starts moving, bail. Because a lot of times what happens too is as soon as we start taking steps, you start spinning out, you start kind of already leaning towards the hand that's going to bail. That's where the straddle and the double leg kick-ups come in handy, because they're symmetrical. And so we kick up evenly, so it's really easy to spot if any of the side is bailing, because if I'm kicking up from here, I'm not going to be kicking up like with some kind of a weird twist and turn, whereas from a single leg, the hips start going and we start kind of bailing, and so we don't want to do that. And it requires some self-control to not let the hand step out and take more than one step. But I mean, that's what we're trying to develop here anyways, correct? So again, as soon as you kick up, either hold it, but as soon as it's a step, just get out of it. Eventually, once you can hold it, it's really, really easy to walk from there. You just start taking steps, and that's where the slightly more advanced drills come in. They're not really super advanced, they're not full-on gymnastics drills, they're just a little bit more, kind of a little bit, build a little bit better on these two, but I wouldn't rush to them until you can do these pretty well. So hopefully that helps.